Welcome back. In this video, we're going to step through the process of transferring an invoice from Zoho CRM to MYOB using BizLinker from Lobster Software. On the screen right now, you can see an invoice that we're currently editing. Set a subject here, sample invoice 125. That's our invoice date. We've selected a customer, Altitude Proprietary Limited. You can see the address details coming through there. We've assigned a customer purchase order number, and we're going to map that through to the customer PO field in MYOB. And we've also added a couple of products. So down below here we've got a couple of products being added in, plus our GST invoice total 528. So I'm going to go ahead and save that invoice now in Zoho. Now, I just want to point out a couple of fields here. So we have three custom fields that we use. So we set this up as part of the BizLinker setup. MYOB ID field. After an invoice is transferred to MYOB, the identifier from MYOB is written back into here, and also the date of synchronization. So we can know when looking at this invoice later in Zoho where that is in MYOB and when it was synchronized. We've also added a custom invoice number field, and this allows us to have a friendly invoice number. So I've set a pattern here, 2013, it's the first invoice for the year, and that's a much nicer number to use than the one that Zoho creates, which we can see up here, this long string like that. The last thing we'll have a look at on this invoice is the status field. And we have a setting in BizLinker that allows us to filter the invoices based on status. So I've set it up that we only want to synchronize invoices that have been approved. So I'll change that to approved, and now that invoice is all ready to go, and we can synchronize that through to MYOB. So I'll just go over now to look at MYOB and BizLinker. So on the screen here you can see my MYOB sales register on the left, and on the right BizLinker is running, and we're just looking at the invoice settings screen for the moment. In here we can say what field in MYOB we want to write the Zoho identifier to. So I've chosen the memo field there. Here's where we say what invoice status that we want to synchronize, and I've set that to approved. The names of my custom fields are shown here. I've also got some settings here which save some time for us. So the prevent duplicate invoice import to MYOB, that will not allow BizLinker to import a second invoice of the same number if that already exists in MYOB. And export customer if not linked means that if the customer for that sale is new, it will also export that to MYOB and then create the invoice against that customer. So that's the setups there. I'll just close that screen. And then we'll look at the Invoices tab in BizLinker. So the first thing I'm going to do is just see what invoices there are sitting in Zoho right now that need synchronizing. So I can do that by just clicking on the unsynced invoices here, and it's just found that one invoice that we've been working on, 2013-1. So I'm going to go ahead and synchronize that to MYOB. I click on the Sync to MYOB button, and it's sent that to MYOB. You can see the green confirmation message there, and in a moment we'll see that actually pop up in the sales register in MYOB. So let's have a look at that invoice. So we can see here there's our customer, Altitude Proprietary Limited, with the ship to and billing to addresses, the invoice number, the date, the customer purchase order number. There's our two products, our GST and our total. The subject of the invoice in Zoho has come through our comments field here, and you can see our Zoho ID has been written into the memo as we asked it to do. We set the invoice delivery status as already printed or sent, and that's our invoice in MYOB. If we now go back to Zoho and just have a final look at that, so I'll Go back to editing that particular invoice, and you can see, sure enough, there's a MYOB identifier come through there, 952, and that's the synchronization date there in the invoice for us. If I look at BizLinker one last time, I can now look at the linked invoices. And so we're now getting a list of invoices in Zoho that have been linked through to MYOB, and our one will be in that list there now. There it is there, showing that as being linked, and that concludes our video.